Hello and welcome to Web Systems Programming. I'm going to go through how to create a .NET Core app using the Microsoft tutorial, which introduces a tremendous number of errors that if you try to follow the tutorial directly, good luck getting through it unless you've got a high level of expertise in how to do this. I've already thought of what the project's going to be, and I've already set up one actual type of model that I need to go with this. I'll explain it very rapidly as I go. So here we go. We're going to actually, in Visual Studio 22, we're going to go ahead and start a project. This project we're going to do as a core. So the two most common types of projects I do are .NET Web Applications. I may do it in MVC or I may do it in web forms. There's good places for both of those, and I like both of those. But let's do a core web app because I'm actually demonstrating the steps in their tutorial. This is going to be the Grief Heroes. So it doesn't, it's obviously going to be your name. And I'm going to use individual accounts because I actually do like to set up a little bit of the authentication for me. And Microsoft's going to go to work very hard and put that project together. It's going to stick it in the other window, but I'm going to bring it back over here. So here we go. We've got the overview, all the pieces that go here. And so now I actually want to go through, and the first thing that I want to do with this is from a core app is I'm going to use MVC, so I need to create a model. Beauty is that I've already thought this app out and I've thought out one of the models. Thing about working in MVC, you really need to give a thought to your data model ahead of time and know what your data model is going to look like. So if I go over to here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a folder, which I can't see the folder thing. So there is new folder. I'm going to call it models. Now, if you'd set up for MVC, models would already exist. And now I'm going to go ahead and say add a new item, and I'm going to go ahead and create a class. There's class at the top one. And I'm going to name that class. In this case, it's going to be donation materials because that's what I have over here in my documentation that I set that class to be, donation materials. So that's just something that I had designed ahead of time. All of my models I've done before I even started into the code. I thought what my models are going to be. They're done. So I go ahead and add. And the beauty of this is once I've added this class in here, I can go ahead over here and copy and paste. Boom. Bring over all the data elements and paste them in right here. And now my model is created. Well, it's created once I save this file. So I have a model for this, and the reality is it does not matter what the name of this is. It does not matter. What matters is what data elements that you've got that you need to go ahead and put into your application so that users can add, edit, create, and do whatever they need to do. So that's what's important. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this off. Now, the next thing I'm going to look at here is I want to see my connected services. I want to look at the, whoops, I'm sorry, I want to look at not the services, the dependencies. I want to look at the packages. And I'm going to look at so everything here is 6.0.1. And I do want to use some of the Entity Framework automated tools that they had pointed out in the tutorial. So it's kind of important that I actually have access to those. So I can go ahead and do this through the menu up here, but I actually like to go over here just to manage NuGet properties. And I'm going to, okay, this is kind of small, so it's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to fit this whole thing in, but what I really want is the Microsoft .entity framework. Good luck saying it. Core SQL Server, nope. Core tools, nope. I want the design tools. The design tools that I had, are, let's see, the ones that I actually want to use. I have, I'm going to pause here so I can pull up. All right, so I figured out how to get a little bit more room here. So Microsoft.entity framework work core.design. And see, whoops, and I need to hit browse, not installed. There it is, Microsoft Entity Framework Core Design. And I can go ahead and now I looked over here and all my other versions were 6.0.1, so I'm going to install 6.0.1. Now it's not going to like that. but I'm going to just jump through the screens to accept this. But now it's all in there. And if I actually come over here, I can see that everything's 6.0.1. Now, if I try to run this, it's going to tell me that it's got a few issues that have to do, and it will actually roll back some of the packages. So one of the things I can do right now is I can just update them all at one time. And so let's do installed. Okay, that's what's installed. Updates. Let's select all packages. Let's update them all. This will actually update them all to 6.0.2. I go ahead and accept. And it doesn't take any time to do that. So now everything is at 6.0.2, except for Entity Framework Core, which is at 6.0.1. Actually, I can check that too. This is worth knowing how to do this. If I come up here, I should be able to look over here. And sure enough, 6.0.1's on those. So let's go back. If I select all the packages, and then right-click, and updates, and let's see, I'm sure that there's 5. Oh, include pre-release, and turn that off. That was the problem I actually had to search on, so it was filtering. Now if I select all packages, and I see something that you can see, that include pre-release and turning off the search, something that's kind of important to do. So let's go ahead and update all the packages to 6.0.2. Booyah. Now let's go over and look, 6.0.2 for all of those. Let's go back and look up here into the CS project file. All of them are 6.0.2. We should be okay to go. But one thing I can do is I can just try running it and see what happens. And if there's any real issues there, it'll usually pick it up right then and there. So it is build started. I'm coming over here to the browser where this is a web app, so the browser will start up. And let's bring the browser up. And if you look here, the application is running just fine. Let's go ahead and close it. That will stop this. So debugging is stopped. All right, so first problem that you'll find out is if you've got some versioning issues there, that's going to stop you. It's going to give you all sorts of cryptic error messages. That's how you get through them. But the reality here is that all these guys need to be in the same version. All right, now I've built, so the packages are good. I've got a data model right here. In that data model, right here in models, I've got donation materials, which is just a model. Just don't worry about the name of it. It doesn't mean anything. And the next thing I really need to do here is I need to go ahead and I want to create some pages. I want create, update, blah, 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 blah. I want all those pages, the update, delete. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go ahead and add. I like to put them all in a folder. And this is actually what the tutorial tells you to do. It says new folder, and this is not going to work, but I'm going to do it anyway. Donation. This is one of those things I'm like, how did they miss this? But we're going to fix it too. Materials. So I go in and put in donation materials. Now that I've got this folder, I can add. Now scaffolding is where it creates all those pages for you, which is really kind of nice. And I want them all. I want CRUD. I want Razor pages using Entity Framework, CRUD. I want them all. So I hit add. I need to pick the model, so I should have no problem. Okay, donation materials was the data model. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the data model that I just created, all those fields, and I'm creating pages for all of them to create and edit and all those things. I do need a data context class. Griefheroes.data, Griefheroes context, that's fine. I like that data context class. I've got a place to put the data context piece that goes with all of these models. And I'm going to use this data context class over and over again for all the different models that I have. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and click add. And I'm going to sit here and go, wait, dependency information being updated. And it should go ahead and generate all the build and generate all those pages for me. So there it goes. It's generating the pages just fine, generating the code. We're good. And if you get to this stage, you're doing pretty good because there's a lot of little errors that can occur along the way. I want to be able to do this very rapidly. Now, it's still going to give me some issues here. So, generate the code. Come on, guys. Let's get it done. All right. Now, if I try, well, and I can see if I try to run this, I'm going to run into some issues. But I'm going to go ahead and hit the run again. And it's going to go ahead and toss a whole bunch of errors. And the errors, if I go to any one of those errors, it's like, okay, that is a class, and I know it's a class because I made it. If I go back here to the model, the donation materials with all of its fields is a class. I made it, and it's in a namespace griefheroes.models. If I come over here to the pages and I look at any one of these pages, what did it do? I'm going to have to go to the C#. Well, namespace Grief Heroes pages donation materials, which is going to conflict with this class that is donation materials. Great. How do I fix this? Well, I do have a way to fix this, and this is and here's the thing: is normally you do actually put the, Visual Studio by default names the class with the names of the directories that you put the stuff in. So if I use the logical choice of putting donation materials, which is the model that I have called donation materials, in a directory called pages.donationmaterials, it wants to make the namespace pages.donationmaterials. The namespace and the class, boom, 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 conflict. So let's fix that. Well, how do I fix that? Well, one is I've got to get rid of what I just did. So let's go ahead and delete this stuff. Not the whole thing. I'm not going to delete the, I'm going to delete all those pages. Boom, they're gone. Well, they're gone now. All right, now, what I'm going to do is, instead of this, I'm just going to rename this, because I know that this is going to create, a namespace. I'm going to go NS underscore. It's actually namespace donation materials. I got to just do NS to donate it as a namespace also. But that's the thing, is this will get rid of that conflict. So now I've got to go through that entire scaffolding process again. So I'm going to add new scaffolded items. It's going to be a CRUD. I'm going to add it. The model class, I still need to pick a model class. Remember, you're going to have to do this. If you want to have it automatically make the create, delete, details, edit, blah, blah, blah for everything, you're going to have to do this for every single one. Now, the data context class I created the last time I ran it. So that data context class, and actually, I can go back out here and whoops. No, I'm going to go ahead. I have to go all the way back to do this. So I can show you when I get done here. The donation materials, okay, the data context class is there. I click add. Now it's going to go through and do this. And again, we're going to sit here and go da 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 da. Wait. Sing a little song. Practice your karaoke. Okay, code is getting generated. So what this should end up with when you're done is the pages for create, and we can look at it. Okay, look at the pages: create, delete, details, edit, index. So, okay, now, question is, does this actually cause any conflicts? Well, that's easy to tell. If you're going to have a namespace to a class conflict, if you try to run it, it's going to pick it up with the compiler, and it's going to tell you. However, note that I am not getting any issues that are located. And the beauty is that, guess what? It ran. There it is. It's running. Okay, so I've solved that problem. I'm not quite sure how the Microsoft guys didn't pick up on that, because they know perfectly well how the naming conventions work. But let's go ahead and close this down again. Well, does this actually do anything? Does it work? Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and run. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually bring up the create. I can't do details or delete, because I actually don't have any field records there. But look at that. You know, the title, description, cost, price. Okay, those are the actual fields for that right there. Now, of course, this is now, I can modify this. This is not really that hard to modify. And I can actually add in all the other pieces that I need to do this, to add to this, but voila. Okay, that's there. And of course, you know, how do you do that? Well, I can pull it up. There it is. There's the HTML, all the pieces that go with that. If I want to change the name, you know, if I want to put a space right there, donation materials, instead of making it look like that, boom, it's easy to do. Control save. Now, if I run it again, it's going to say that. It's going to say donation materials. There you go. That is, in a nutshell, in 15 minutes, I have created. Now, I haven't linked the whole thing to the database yet, but I've got a data model running with both all C, R, U, and D pages, the data context, and all of the pieces of MVC to do what I need to do. Now, there are going to be steps attaching it back to a back-end database, which I haven't done any of those. But the beauty of that is, with Entity Framework, it will do all that work for you too, if you've actually got a database for it to go to the back end for. So that is in 15 minutes. quickly how to build and get through all the errors that are associated with the tutorial on how to create an actual .NET Core application. There you go.